Hello again, everyone. Todd Michael Putnam from D&D Creative Table Designs, bringing you another adventure table idea, and this is World of Warcraft: The Deadmines dungeon. The Deadmines. It is a dungeon instance in the MMO video game of World of Warcraft on the Alliance side. If you've ever played that game, quite a few people have. It's dropped off in popularity, but still a lot of fun to do casually once in a while. And I certainly had a lot of great memories running through there. When there were times I couldn't play Dungeons and Dragons because of what was going on, I could always hop on World of Warcraft. And even though it's not really Dungeons and Dragons, at least you're running around slaying monsters and communicating with people and having some fun. So, but in any case, this is, to the best of my ability, an impressionistic recreation of the Deadmines. The Deadmines actually has two versions. There's the classic version, and then there's the retail version, because different events have taken place and changed things. And due to space limitations and resource limitations, this is sort of a mashup of the two of them. It's like I said, it's an impressionistic recreation of it, not a literal exact. And the Deadmines is located out in Westfall on the Alliance side, just a little ways from the main capital of Stormwind. And there's a town, Moonbrook, and in that town there's a mining operation that has been taken over by the Defias Brotherhood. There's all this big, long, deep backstory, and won't get super deep into it. But the Defias Brotherhood has basically taken over the Deadmines, and you end up traveling down this big, long series of staircase, which I've tried to replicate here, which brings you into the mines proper, as it were. And basically, what they tell you to do is to follow the trail of the homeless people. And if you follow the trail of little homeless people, so I have a bunch of, not basically not too well off commoners and stuff that I've placed around, and a couple of poor zombie guys. Supposed to depict, starving people or whatever. And you can follow that around. But if you get lost, before you get into the mines itself, the actual dungeon, you get lost, there's actually an area that's the haunted portions of the mines that has skeletons in here. There's skeletal foremen and stuff like that. So I tried to recreate that as well. Once you go down into the mines, if you get off into certain sections of it, there are undead skeletons that are still chipping away at the mines, and of course they're hostile to anyone that comes in and attacks the players. Otherwise, you could go ahead and you follow through on basically the mine tracks and the homeless people, and it keeps going down and down. So I tried to replicate that as best I could on my table. And there's little sections that you'll see of homeless folk going on, and sections that come down on the other side here where there's just like piles of trash and stuff like that, and they're working. Eventually, though, you'll come to a place, following the tracks around, where you see some Stormcloak. So not Stormcloak. Listen to me. That's Skyrim. Stormwind soldiers who are protecting one particular area of the mine. Which, how they got past the Defias Brotherhood up on top, I'm not really sure how that works. But anyways, it's basically the base of operations right before you get into the dungeon proper, where all the monster bad guys really are. And there's a little area in there that this is the best I could replicate this thing right here, where there's a transporter where if you die in the somewhere deep in the dungeon, you spawn back up here. You run up and you hop in a transporter, and it'll teleport you back down lower into the dungeon, so you don't have to make the entire run, as it were. So I took some sci-fi terrain and put that in there. And then there's some quest givers that are up here, but mostly it's defined by a couple of quest givers, and then the Stormwind soldiers, who are basically protecting this one area, because if you go down past that, there are the ogres and kobolds that are there mining. The kobolds are mining, and the ogres are basically just there to make sure that the Alliance guys don't go any deeper into it. And this, of course, is the start of the dungeon proper, where you start battling and fighting the ogres and the little kobold guys, beating them up. And there's lots of like little twisty, traily type moves in the mine itself, and a couple little branch off locations where you fight off, and basically it's a bunch of little trash mobs. And then you go through, and it slips my mind. There's a boss guy right here. He's Glubtub, I think is what his name is, which is an ogre magi type guy. So I've got him on a WizKids warlock summoning circles there, because at some point he just before you kill him, he draws in all this magic and does this big explosion and stuff. And he's got a couple of bodyguards with him there. So that's that section right there that you get to fight him. It's different. I think that's in the retail version. In the classic version, it's something different. I could be wrong, but like I said, it's a mix-up of the two. A little mash-up of both of them. So let me go back around the table here. When you come out of that section, after you defeat him, you come through, and then what you have is an area that's filled with goblins and monkeys. I have no idea what the lore behind the monkeys is, and I was able to find one of my monkey guys and goblins. So they run around in there, and you got to fight them. The monkeys don't attack you themselves, but if they take any area effect damage while you're fighting the goblins, then there's all kinds of problems with them. Deeper in the burrow type areas is the Defias Brotherhood, which basically they've got like little red masks on them, and they dress in different clothes or whatever it is, but they're clearly labeled in the game that they're the Defias Brotherhood, quote unquote bad guys. There's a deeper lore behind it, but that's in terms of who the players are fighting. If they run across these guys, you have to fight them. And the dungeon goes up and down quite a bit. It goes up some areas, down others. So I tried to replicate that, going down a few levels there, and then coming across, and then it starts to go up some levels here, and then climbing up the stairs until you get to this guy. Turn him around, which is Shredder. Can't remember what the little goblin guy on top is, but it's basically a take off of Master Blaster from the Mad Max movies there, where there's a big robot type guy or whatever it is, but instead of a big oaf, it's a robot type guy, and there's a little tiny goblin on top that controls him, and you have a nice fight with him, and after you beat the big robot guy off, the goblin jumps off and starts jumping on top of players' heads, starts beating on them, and you have to get him off the other players in order to finish him off. So there's that fight, and then when you come from there, there's this big, long, winding, it's not actually stairs, it's basically a sloped hallway or whatever that's going down. And as you're going down it, you can see from the Foundry room, you can see this big vat of boiling magma or whatever that's or molten steel that's going on. So I tried to replicate that. This actually should be higher if you wanted to be exact. That the fight with Shredder is at a higher location, but the best I could do with resources and stuff is to make it about the same height. And there's some stairs going down into here, and then that brings you down to these guys. That's just the power cord that controls that, where there are these harvester type guys that you have to get into a fight with, along with one big particular one, and that's another boss fight in the adventure. And then you come through, and there's some more Defias Brotherhood guys that need to be fought in some twisty-turny caves. It's going along to a section here, and then eventually you get to this room here, which conspicuously is missing a cannon. I have cannon someplace, and I have searched, and for the first time in a long time, I actually can't find one of my resources. I don't know where I got misplaced at. And I actually do have a cannon that's on order, but I had to take this before it arrived for things that are going on. So there should be a big cannon in this room that blasts open those doors. And when the doors blast open, there's immediately some Defias Brotherhood guys that come rushing in. So you fight them. And then you go running across these docks. And the docks, I have vultures, but there's actually parrots. They're actually parrots that are flying along all around here. And they circle above, and they basically they attack you. And then also there's like bombs that are getting dropped, or cannon fire that's going on, blowing up as the players are running across these docks, across the water. And of course, if you get knocked off, there's no way to climb up. You have to swim all the way back over here, climb up, and then run your way back along the docks where the birds and the cannon fire continue to assault you. And then eventually there's some big winding staircases and stuff that goes up. And then there's a few more boss fights. There's Cookie, who's basically a murloc. It's a creature in Worlds of Warcraft. It's not a creature in Dungeons and Dragons. But there's this big it's called Cookie, and he's this big murloc, and he's a fight. And then there's another fight with a guy called Admiral Ripsnarl, who's basically a werewolf. They're called Worgen in World of Warcraft. But those guys there, and of course there's a fight with Van Cleef, if you depending on which version of the, whether it's the classic version or the retail version. But and of course there's pirates, excuse me, pirates all along the way. So that's basically it. And then once you kill them, those are the big bad guys. And then there's actually some stairs that go down here, and you run off to the other side, or you just right-click and exit out of the dungeon for that. That's basically the adventure in a nutshell. As far as I tried to fit it all on my tables, it took up pretty much every inch of space that I have. So as far as where all this stuff came from, very quickly, this thing is called the Sky Tower. It's actually designed to be something that's supposed to be like for hot air balloons or Spelljammer ships or something like that. It's a 3D print. I want to say it's from Printable Scenery. Also from Printable Scenery, these right here, what I use as mine tracks and stuff, these are actually World War II trenches that I just had repainted up, and they do an admirable job of being a mine situation for that. In the centerpiece along these here, these are all Dwarven Forge caverns, and then with intermixed in there, you can see like this one piece here, the little pointy piece, that's from Iranthor Mountain set, also from Dwarven Forge, and those are just kind of mixed in to add some variety. So that's all this section in here. This guy here I just got doing on eBay, doing a search for 28mm sci-fi, and it's supposed to be like some kind of an incubator or whatever it is. That's why there's that green nasty thing in there. But it was close to the design approximation for the transporter for characters who die and need to get teleported back deep into the dungeon. So I chose that for that. This is all just the caverns and stuff. Over here again, this is more of the mines. Coming back here, these double doors are from Dwarven Forge, the Dungeons of Doom Kickstarter set, which is long past Kickstarter. It's available on retail. I believe I already said that particular summoning circle is from WizKids. Their Warlock tile summoning circle sets. Those are great. You could do different colors for that, and they have different patterns that come with it too. I highly recommend those. And then I'm going to come around to the other side. And this whole section right here is from WizKids Burrows set. It's supposed to be insect burrows, basically, is what it's designed to be. However, in the dungeon itself, there's sections in the mine that don't look organized and well made, such as these are representing here. It just seems more like it's dug out dirt paths, kind of, that's not really properly supported. So we use these burrows to try and get that effect. It is possible with the burrows. They have support pieces that are designed so that you can have multiple levels to it. It works great. I use some elevation tiles from Dwarven Forge, and then also their cavern accessories, which has like natural stairs and stuff like that to create the lead up to this. These big guys right here, these are my Todd tiles. These are 2x8, 2 inches, 2 inches wide and 2 inches high and 8 inches deep, I think, or something like that. Or maybe it's 2x4x8, I can't remember. But anyways, they're just 3D prints. You can go to thangs.com, thangs.com, print out as many as you want. There's some different styles and varieties. It's specifically for this very idea that you can create elevation in your games. If you want to have an example, this right here, that is a 28mm mini. That's how much elevation that is, just by setting 3 of these on top of each other, 6 inches of elevation. And then of course the Dwarven Forge tiles on top of it creates a lot of drama, visual drama to the table's experience. And then as we head over this way, the glowing stuff is from Dwarven Forge Hellscape. Again, I got it on the Kickstarter, but of course it's available retail now, and it uses LED panels underneath here, and these are translucent. So there's a light panel that's underneath that's powered by this, and this thing right here is a potentiometer that basically allows you to brighten or reduce the light of it so you can have the intensity that you're looking for in your gaming experience of how hot you want it to be. These two large stair sets are actually from WizKids The Tower. If you're looking for a tower, it's fantastic. It's very modular. You build it basically the way that you want, use the piece you want. But these are internal staircases because it's large enough to be playable inside. So I grabbed those to make up the height difference and bring it coming down on this side. Here is Dwarven Forge, their classic dungeon tile sets. These walls here, I got mine all pre-painted for that stuff, but you can also buy them without being painted. This one right here, that center square tile with the red and stuff, I want to say that also came from the Dungeons of Doom, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Too many pieces. More of the classic Caverns tile sets coming through here. Then this set right here is all WizKids docks, which is an accessory set. I got several of those sets popped together that come with like little rafts and some docks, and it comes from some boats and stuff like that. And then also over here, there's from Dwarven Forge, these guys on the side. I'm trying to remember where they came from. I want to say they're Cavern accessories. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are Cavern accessories, but I could be wrong. But anyways, I just put those there to create the the cave cove type effect, you want to call it, with the because it's this big ship and stuff is supposed to be in Goonies fashion. If you remember that old 80s movie, there's basically a ship that's in this huge underground cavern that the Defias Brotherhood, their evil plan is to build it up and break it out and go and sail on Stormwind, who they have a big beef with, and try and take out the capital city. Anyways, and then last but not least, this is my WizKids The Falling Star ship. These are fantastic. I love these. These top pieces come off here, and there's playable areas that are inside. These are held on by magnets, basically, so that you can take them on or take them off, and like if you have battle or something like that, you could have the ships suffer damage to it and be able to actually display that in the game while it's going on. So very cool for that. That's basically it. This entire table is 10 feet long, and I want to say like 5 feet wide. Yeah, 10 by 5 table, I'd say, is what the entire thing is. So there it is. Sorry, this one's a little bit longer, but it's kind of a much larger table. The Deadmines from World of Warcraft, recreated impressionistically for Dungeons and Dragons. Please like and subscribe, guys, if you enjoy the content and you want to see more of it. It helps out the channel, lets me know that you guys are interested in what we're doing here, and lets me know to keep making more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again next Adventure Table. Take care, guys. Bye.